So you've spent all this time messaging him and you thought you had a great connection, but nothing. The messages got fewer and fewer. He didn't ask you out. And finally, you just stopped talking. Or maybe you did end up meeting with him and it was a complete waste of time. It went nowhere. How do you spot the time wasters? The guys who are never going to go anywhere with you? Well, you look for these 3 signs. Hi, I'm Amy Waterman, a dating and relationship expert with yourbrilliance.com. And in this video, you are going to learn how to weed out the wrong guys so that you can spot the right guys faster. Sign number 1 is his profile picture rubs you wrong. Now, I know you're not supposed to judge a book by its cover, but there is a very good reason to judge a man by his profile picture, and it's probably not what you think. It's because the picture a man chooses to represent himself carries clues about how he wants to be seen, and it's those clues that you're going to want to look for. So for example, does he have a picture of his 6-pack abs? Well, then you're probably looking at a guy who's kind of vain. Does he refuse to smile? Well, then you're probably looking at a guy who's very serious about appearing masculine. Are all of his pictures of skiing and whitewater rafting and traveling? Well, then you're looking at a guy who wants women to see him as adventurous. Now, if the only reason you look at his picture is to see if he's attractive, change your perspective. You're going to find out whether there's chemistry when you meet. Much more important is what his picture says about who he is. Those pictures tell you the type of man he thinks himself to be. He wants you to draw certain conclusions from them. And it's your job to ask yourself, are those conclusions compatible with the kind of guy that you really want? Sign number 2, he puts you off when you ask to meet. Now, yes, I did say when you ask to meet. If you like a guy and you've enjoyed several days of pleasurable banter, then I strongly encourage you to make that next move. Ask to connect on a video date. Say that you want to see him. And if he backs off or if he makes some excuse, then you know this guy is a time waster. Many of us make 2 big mistakes with online dating. Number 1, we let the messaging go on way too long. We end up having such a great conversation by text that we forget to strike while the iron's hot. And number 2, we assume that the guy flirting with us by text is real. We don't realize that this is just his avatar. It's his online personality. And it may accurately reflect him, but equally, it might not. You don't want to have a great conversation with a guy online. You want to have a great conversation with him face to face. So once you establish compatibility, move yourself right along. And right now, the safest way to do that is to hop on Zoom or your dating app video chat and have a virtual date. One of the reasons we used to spend so much time getting to know each other before meeting up was to establish safety. You wanted to know that this guy wasn't a serial killer before you met him. But with video dates, as long as you're not giving him your personal details, you can meet up right away. Video is the next best thing to being together in person, and it tells you right away whether this guy is worth meeting in real life or not. So go ahead, tell him that your fingers are tired of texting, and how about hopping on video? See if he's for real or not. Sign number 3, he's only interested in whether you conform to his expectations. Now you can tell when a guy is trying to pigeonhole you. He wants you to fit into a box that he understands. He says things like, all women do X, and because you're a woman, you must fit that stereotype. Have you ever been in that situation where a guy is asking you questions and you can tell he wants certain answers? It's uncomfortable, isn't it? He's not interested in you. He's interested in finding a woman. And maybe that woman is you, but maybe not. These guys are usually very, very clear about what they want. They want a woman with a very particular list of traits. And you read through this guy's job description and you try to think, is that me? Would he like me? The more specific a guy is about what he wants, the less likely it is that any woman is going to match his fantasy. These guys have a really difficult time making relationships work. They idealize women, but they're unable to cope with the reality of a partner. It's all wonderful until suddenly things get a little bit difficult, and instead of rising to the occasion, he just breaks it off or vanishes. You want to be with somebody who understands that reality is messy, people are not perfect, and relationships are full of surprises. You can't just put up a wish list and expect to get a custom-made girlfriend. You have to meet people where they're at. Have you met any time wasters online? If so, what other red flags would you share with our viewers? Tell us about them in the comments. And for more dating advice, make sure to check out my free gift to you, the 3 A's of Effortless Attraction. You will find that link in the description box below. See you next time.